Oh, this is so fucking funny.
Why does it sound like a fucking Larry the Cable Guy video over there?
Jamie?
You guys will be muted.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
From the heart of the city to the outer edges of the Beltway and beyond, this is the District of Misfits show, the drinking show with a podcast problem. This is your guide into our unique and beautiful city, the good, the bad, the ugly, as well as the funny, straight up ridiculous. Told by us before someone tells it for us. The opinions expressed on this show are our own, and we make no apology.
There it is.
Hello, heathens.
Thank you.
Welcome to another the District of Misfits show.
I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the nightmare.
Sorry, the nightmare it's over. I'm not on the tin can anymore. I'm just excited to be here with you guys.
Welcome, Jamie, to the new technology.
I missed you, motherfucker.
Cohorts.
We missed you last week.
I saw the show. I had a good time, but I was, busted phone, whatever. Boo, do your thing. Don't let me fuck it up. I apologize.
Am I doing a thing? Was I doing a thing?
Now you're doing a thing.
Now, yeah.
I like to thank God.
So, yeah, since I'm doing a thing, I would like to cordially ask you all to like, share, and invite your friends and loved ones and frenemies to tune in and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The District of Misfits, Twitter at DC Misfits. On YouTube, we have a channel. It's The District of Misfits Show, the whole thing. Say the whole thing. On Twitch, District of Misfits, all one word. And if you would like to support us, please go to crushingdc.com and purchase some of our fine wares. That's crushingdc.com. Thank you. How's it going, folks? What's shaking?
It's a good week, man. It's a good week. It was a good week. So I feel like on this show we're gonna be talking about like weed for cannabis, Bernie memes, Jo McDaniel and Coach, and the poops.
Okay.
Poops.
The poops.
Oh, we're really gonna talk about the poops, huh?
No, we're not really.
We can.
I just got all I asked was how you were doing. I didn't really. Like,
Well, I had to do my thing too.
Well, I think you're getting ahead of yourself. Like,
I think you
how's
are
everybody?
too.
Yeah. Like,
How about just drink your drink?
Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm fucking fantastic, elated. Words that I don't know how to spell, all that stuff.
You mentioned something about an upgrade.
Cool. You
Hello?
guys yeah.
Hey,
And go back to the Super Bowl. Fuck, I got to cheer for Tom Brady because it's the NFC.
Tom Brady.
God fucking
No.
But do you do that?
Okay, so someone here is going to have to pull up the clip because Ian was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I made a prediction that he considered to be bold, and that prediction was that Tom Brady was going to fucking win a goddamn Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he told me no, that's not a thing. I would like for us to somehow dig up that clip.
We'll find it.
So that when it does happen, I can be like, is this you?
You know,
because I'm not a Tom Brady, and I'm not a Tom Brady fan. Like, and I haven't really been following football, but I just think we can't even say it's a 2020 kind of thing. But I guess the season started in 2020, so I guess it's still technically
I think
a 2020 thing that Tom Brady will win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I picked this up from my old man. It's literally whoever is like in my conference is who I vote for in the championship or whatever.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I've been dirty several times. Cowboys, Redskins, Giants. But I don't really give a fuck. We beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, so it's like,
I mean, truth be told, when I was like hardcore following football, what's up, Megan? When I was hardcore following football in the Super Bowl, I always rooted NFC over AFC. So
yeah, I can't.
I'm glad I'm not burdened with that this season. But go ahead.
What are you gonna do?
Anyways, Val, how are you? How's your week? What's shaking?
It was all right. You know, there was like some important thing, I guess, that happened in the middle of the week.
Apparently not that important.
Yeah.
You know,
I got drunk.
I got a little teary. I drank an entire bottle and a half of Prosecco.
I binged all of Cobra Kai.
Isn't it?
Indoor dining
was
open again on Friday. So
what?
I went back to work for one day.
Thanks, Megan.
One day I went back for work.
Megan's not wrong.
But, you know.
Well, Boo, you got this ab workout you've been doing all day. So.
Yeah, he's got that ab workout.
I'm like 24 hours into what I hope is a 24-hour bug that just like I feel like I've been choke slammed by the Undertaker, but just in my guts.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's good to hear. I feel for you.
In the guts.
I feel for you.
Yeah, like like I said earlier in the chat before, it was like my guts are Willem Dafoe at the end of Platoon, and they're taking off in the helicopter, and they're like, "Bye," and he's just like, fuck up, there's explosions and shit in the background. Everything's getting napalm.
Crying.
Yeah. I was trying to be
crying.
Like 2 seconds when I did that. If I fell off this fucking stool, I'd have been so upset.
I would love it.
I would have fallen off of my chair if that had happened.
I mean, I feel like I had to suck it up though and be here for y'all, for the people, for all of you.
I want to just point out that Megan J. Gay is our top fan.
Oh,
right
for
now.
sure. No, there's no air quotes.
It says it on our feed.
It tells you.
It says top fan. She is our top fan.
I'm top fan. A couple different
Poor Boo.
But yeah, so there you go. Yeah, thank you. You're getting really quick with that. I like that.
Yes.
Oh, shout out to John Pitt.
What up, Stan?
It's not the whiskey bug, bro. I wish it was. God damn. I wish it was. I think it was honestly the week, the last 10 days has been so stressful, like just in general, and I think my body just kind of sort of tapped out.
Well, you said you rode the Metro, right?
Yeah, did you touch everything?
I was not. No, I mean, no.
Air. Oh.
No, I mean, I had to. No, to the best of my knowledge, I did not touch anything in the Metro.
I didn't touch the Metro stuff
and I'm
before.
an avid hand washer. And I use sanitizer when it is necessary. I think it was just I was out in the elements for a good chunk of last week, and just not really like prepared for it, and I don't know, because it wasn't anything I ate. I ate all the same stuff that my kids did, and they're fine. And I actually hadn't been drinking the last couple days. Maybe that's my problem. And someone cracks a beer. They're like, "Go on, Boo. Tell us more about your."
Might have been me.
Tell us more.
I have a variety. I have a buffet of liquor up with me right now. I'm kind of scared about tonight.
I have two types of Mad Dog.
Are you? Yeah, Marcus is filtering his own whiskey. He's trying to go highbrow. He's self pickling like a professional. And then I got the Mad Dog. I'm sipping Emergency because this thing I think literally saved my life last night.
I'm currently drinking gin right now, which means I might throw a fucking chair tonight.
Oh no! Are you drinking straight from the bottle?
Why are you so fancy?
What, Hendrix? It's the only gin to drink, baby.
No, you got like an actual glass that you've curated some cocktails.
Yeah. So
or that, John.
Don't do that. My mom might be watching. No, Hendrix was on sale at Lions for like half off. So I bought two.
Are we doing safe words this week? I didn't see it on the script.
We should.
Should we?
Yeah, we should.
Why not?
Why not?
Okay, well, I'm going first, and my safe word is going to be Bernie. Just getting it out of the way before Val.
We used to say that you can't do names, but that's fine.
That's not true.
Is that true? I've never heard that.
I mean, I created the whole safe word thing, and I don't remember.
I felt like we weren't supposed to be doing names.
I've never seen safe word, so
I'm just going to say burn then.
Because I was going to use a name too, so now I got
my safe word is burn.
You done fucked my rhythm up now.
Sorry. Mine will be Jubilee. Jubilee. I'm having the orange Jubilee right now.
Is it Jubilicious?
It's Jubilicious.
You just gave me one. Jamie?
Mine will be Morpheus in respect to Michelle Obama's suit.
Okay. And Marcus?
I'm just going to do Peaches.
Peaches.
Ooh. In the words of Valerie Graham, this is delightful. This is delightful.
Peaches.
Right. A lot of people.
So before we get too deep into this, Marcus, tell the people what's going on this week on the show.
That's 2 words.
Now
that's
you can
spelled
tell.
wrong.
Wow, that was fantastic.
That's awesome. On this week's show, we're going to possibly talk about weed for cannabis, Bernie memes.
Weed for cannabis?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's backwards. Let me rephrase that.
Shots, Marcus. Shots.
Oh, my gosh. So here's what's funny, y'all, is I'm reading the same notes. And even I, seconds before handing it off to Marcus, looked at that and was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Let's just go with it. Weed for cannabis. We're gonna do weed for cannabis.
Hand it off to no. It's not. It's.
Sheena goes, okay, Marcus.
Weed for vaccinations.
Go to timeout.
Weed for vaccinations. Jo McDaniel and Coach, Amanda Gorman, Bernie memes, and I'm just gonna leave it at that because I can't. I'm done.
Don't try anymore.
I'm not. I'm giving up for the first 5 minutes.
I think Marcus is starting to show like his strengths. He's getting more into the technical aspect of it and the I don't know, the talking thing. He's losing.
Stan, you're not wrong. You ain't wrong.
I got that brain injury, so I can only do like 1 or 2 things at a time.
Right.
Yeah, like 2 years ago. You got concussed 2 years. I'm tired of hearing about this shit.
Hey, Jamie, remember I said I had that mute button? They don't just go away.
There's a lot of concussed people that might take issue with that stance, Jamie.
They don't go away, Jamie. I hate to break it to you. I still go to doctors, so fuck off.
It obviously has not gone away with your silly ass. What I'm saying is Marcus, I care. And one of these days, I might actually send that apology text message.
Send that fucking apology. Take a shot. You're never going to take the apology message ever. It's never coming. I'm never getting it. It's like my Christmas gift from my fucking dad. It never comes. Just keep drinking that shit.
I'll jerk Trump off.
I'm just sitting here like, yeah, you know you ain't gonna get that right.
No, it's never coming. I'm never going to get the shit.
That's the carrot.
Right, exactly.
That's the carrot right there.
Where'd he go? Oh.
He probably had to
deal with a baby.
He's got a sick child. He's got a child that's probably got the same thing I got. Like,
I mean, were you guys hanging out this
upstairs,
week?
downstairs?
No, man. Like, what you say, upstairs, downstairs? I call it a case of the number threes.
That's bad.
It's the worst. You stand, you sit, you stand, you sit.
It's one of those things where I'm like, if I don't talk about it.
So one of my friends that I used to teach with a long time ago, she had the same, like from the top and the bottom. She was sitting on the toilet and she had to throw up. She grabbed the trash can and she was so violently vomiting that her head got caught in the toilet in the trash can.
Oh no.
She got stuck in it. Close
your jaw. Close your mouth and release
so yeah, she got stuck. I mean, just for a second, but she was like, "That's how violently she vomited."
We are less than 20 minutes into this show, and we are already talking about sitting on the toilet.
The poops. I told you we were
it was at the bottom.
I don't know why you thought that we weren't going to be talking.
It was at the bottom of the list on the notes, but somehow it is now the first. It has superseded everything else on the dais for the day.
So let's get off the poops for a second. So about the inauguration, goddamn Jimmy, I just saw you. So about the inauguration, what was your favorite part of it? If we had to choose something, what would be the favorite part of it?
I'm sorry, I'm hitting buttons wrong. I'm not used to this computer life.
It's okay, Jamie.
So if you had to pick something, Boo.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody, but what was your favorite? Because I know what mine was. I'll go
favorite.
first, if you want me to.
Go. Yeah, sure. Tell us, Mark.
I enjoyed the speech from this young lady. It was very inspiring. I've heard
Amanda Gorman, youngest poet laureate.
It's awesome, dude. It's amazing.
She's 22 years old.
Fair, Stan.
This is true. Oh. This is true.
Yeah.
That it actually happened. That's Megan's. All right, I'll take that. Jamie, do you have a favorite part of the inauguration?
Okay, so favorite parts. One, Trump being a little bitch and just not showing up. But
that's a good part.
My man in them Air Jordan 1s.
Yeah.
20.
The Dior's. In the Dior's.
Yeah, that was
I'm not even a sneakerhead, but I saw that shit on Twitter. It was like
everything else, whole grip. This motherfucker's shoes was 21. I think I sent you the goddamn StockX report too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to pull it up.
Drip game was strong.
Those are gourmet kicks.
Gourmet kicks.
Right. Who my friend I saw it on Daniel Lloyd's Facebook page. He posted it and I was like, whose shoes are those? And then they found out later. I don't know. It was funny.
Whose were they exactly?
The husband of Kamala Harris's stepdaughter.
Good for him.
So my favorite part is honestly the part that sort of overtook the whole thing. I thought Biden's speech was good. I thought it was good that he called out, white supremacy and called that out on its face and stuff. Be nice to see what will be done about it and stuff. But that shot of Bernie that became the meme. This is the portrait of a man who, in my opinion, okay, so I got to set up for that and I was very fortunate and I needed the work and very thankful for it. But like Bernie sort of had the like demeanor of like a dude that's like, okay, like, so can we like, get this over with and like get back to work? Like, yeah, the dude, like, you know, portrait of a man who's just overstanding on ceremony, you know. But you know, and I mean, it was like one of those things where he was trending higher than the president.
Everything else.
Yeah, to the point
I mean,
where
and the funny thing is that he was like, I was just cold.
haters
He was trying to keep myself warm.
Haters like Alyssa Milano tried to jump on the fucking bandwagon. Like it was, you know.
I'm gonna be showing up throughout the whole show. So
yeah, you know, they're awesome. I had to.
There's a few great ones out there.
You know, just.
So let's bring up that shoe meme that Jamie sent us earlier.
Yeah, so these are the shoes. I was looking. I'm a size 12, and I know that I definitely don't have that. Yeah, I don't have that kind of scratch. And if I did have that
size, I would be a 4.
14.
If I wore those shoes and you stepped on my fucking shoe, like I understand now, like man.
I got into a fist fight because somebody stepped on my Air Force One in like 2001. $1,000 shoe if you want to.
Yeah, so I was mistaken. It was her niece's husband, not her stepdaughter.
You know, another part of my favorite part of it was this belt buckle.
Yeah, man. Ooh. Let me tell you, I mean, whatever. The fashion was like, I don't know. Fire. I really enjoyed it.
You know, they're sharp as shit.
Yes. I loved it. I loved that belt buckle. Her speech was so I feel like I loved Michelle Obama's speech. I was not I guess I didn't really know what the lineup was for the inauguration, so I wasn't expecting Amanda Gorman to come. So that was completely a surprise. It took me by surprise. She definitely brought tears to my eyes. She looked like, you know, they were like youngest poet laureate, and I was like, is she like 12? She's so little and she looks so young. She's 22 years old, but like just her presence and the way she spoke and like the way she executed the whole thing, she gave a performance, you know, and it was so moving to me, and I don't know, I loved it.
Yeah, I thought her poem was amazing, for sure. I watched it with my kid. You know, I thought it was, you know, all political opinions and stuff aside, I thought it was important for my daughter to witness, you know, the first female, you know, vice president, you know, and a woman of color be sworn in.
How was her reaction to it?
And she loved Amanda Gorman's, you know, poem too. It was like awesome. Really great for her to see that as well. So, you know,
so to see a young.
No, I've been rubbing this in for the last couple of weeks. I've even texted a couple of teachers I had in high school. A lot of people have told me it was stupid to go to a black college. And this right here is the smack in the fucking face I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just, you look at that whole entire lineup the last couple of years of just black college graduates running shit. Your silly ass told me it was dumb.
Yeah, it's good to see it finally.
Fucking nice. Stuff. Thank you. Come
fucking
on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's
yes, Megan.
It's nice to be able to like exhale some, you know, like I was actually, part of me was mad that I slept through his, you know, Scrotus's flying off in the helicopter. Yeah. Part of me wanted to see it, but then part of me is like, no, like he's been neutered in the best way possible. We're like, the best way to hurt that dude is to not pay attention to him.
Right. So exactly. And there's something that like I've been saying for a long time, and obviously from like a media standpoint, it was impossible. But like from a behavioral modification standpoint, as an educator, I was like, the best way to get rid of this guy is not pay him any attention. You know, like not give him any screen time, not like comment on anything he does, because like, you know, the reason why he continued to behave this way is because he was getting positive reinforcement, any sort of reinforcement for anything that he did, even if it were like negative, it was still reinforcement. So he would continue, you know, and this is what happened, you know. I mean, obviously in addition to so many other things, but like,
I'm shocked he's still
you
here.
know, but like we gave him so much power because we gave him so much presence. He took up so much space.
So
And, like,
much.
In general,
he just needs to not take up any space anymore. I'm
I
sorry,
would wait
Jamie.
for the 21st to wake up and find out, one, that he left. Like, like somebody just woke up one day, went and checked in the room, this motherfucker was gone. Or two, New York got his ass, locked his ass up in Florida. Like, that would have been the best 2021 present physically possible. Just to know that he got locked up and the motherfucker just dipped.
I mean, I was kind of into, was it last week when Ian was on here and we were talking about his theory that, you know, Trump will probably get away with all of this, but when he dies, his kids are screwed. I've kind of been mulling that over since he said that, and I've been taking a little bit of solace in that. I think that I actually would be willing to trade that, to make that trade. Like, he could die alone and penniless, which is kind of sort of like, I feel like he's on his way.
I mean,
What I want to know is, where was Barron? Like, they left just the two of them, Melania, and where was he?
I mean, has he been in DC at all?
He's a teenager. He's probably away at like some special
private school
like
shit.
thing.
I mean,
you know?
when he was in DC, he was at St. Andrews, which is, I don't know that he was boarding there. You know, I don't think he was living on campus.
If he's dude, if those were my parents, I would be like, I need to be as far away as possible.
Right.
Like when he
And I
hits
want to
college,
I want to go under a fake name.
right.
I want to go under a fake name, and I'm only
When he hits college, how much does he hate his parents?
dude, he's fucking a teenager, dude. He probably already does.
Stanton with the update.
Yeah, he probably. I mean, soon as puberty kicked in, dude, he was probably like, "Fuck this."
He got tall quick, so
You know,
he was like
shit.
2 foot. He was like 3 foot tall.
Imagine being a teenager. Imagine those being your parents, and then imagine being a teenager during COVID, and those are your fucking parents. You can't do shit.
Right. Yeah, you can't do anything.
You got all them whack ass aunts and uncles and shit too. Imagine fucking family function being that poor fucking kid.
Right?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
I mean, I would be surprised if,
serious.
like, coming, like, you know, in like 10 years, he will be like a maniacal, like, serial killer or something.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I don't want to beat up on anybody's child, you know. But I just, like I said, the whole point I wanted to make was that it cannot be easy to be that kid, and he deserves.
Yeah,
He
puberty.
deserves a lot of fucking sympathy. You can't help who the fuck your parents are.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You can't help who
You know,
you cannot help who your parents are. You cannot
you
help who
know,
your
and,
parents are,
like-
and so therefore making fun of him, that's low hanging fruit. Beating up on him is low hanging fruit. I just, like,
But, like, you know, and I'm not a fan of Melania at all. But, like, in her, you know, to give her credit, like, she really tried to shield him a lot, you know. And I think that,
Yeah.
you know,
like I said, I'd be like, Mom, I would like to go to school as far away from you and that dude as possible.
right?
And
I mean, I feel for
I wanna-
him, you know. I mean, I'm not surprised that he's not, like, you know, that he might
Unless
have,
we all
like,
know
violent
about,
outbursts and stuff, you know. I mean,
maybe he's off somewhere getting the help he needs.
Is that a quote, Stanton? Can we get that on the record?
I think we just did.
Yeah. Yep, there I go drinking that Mad Dog again.
So I know that we didn't put this in the notes, but another child that, like, I feel very sorry for is what's her face? What's her name? The Conaway. What's her name? Kellyanne Conaway. Conway.
Her daughter, yeah.
Her daughter.
Conway.
That point. Have you seen those videos that she, like, secretly taped and she's, like, put on Twitter?
Oh, like her mom calling her an apple.
Her mom was, like, I mean, just violently verbally abusing her, and, like, there's one that, like, it almost seems like she, like, kind of, like, swipes at her a little bit, and, like.
I mean, are you surprised at that though? This little fucking.
I mean, I'm black, dude. I grew up being like. I don't
Right. Yes.
Like that's you know. As when Jamie comes back on, like I want you to say the same thing and see what.
No,
his
I
response is.
mean, you know, I think that
I never got an ass
most of
whooping I
us-
didn't deserve. I also like
That's-
didn't
right,
have
but
a-
her mom
I
is
also
like
didn't have a-
crazy. Like
yeah,
her,
I
I
also
mean,
didn't have a mom who was like a despicable.
Could you?
Detestable.
How
right, but
bipolar-
like
how
I mean,
bi-
if you hear like the way that she I mean, like your mom was probably like legitimately she had a reason to be yelling at you. Like this lady, like she's like maniacally like screaming at her, like and just saying like nasty shit to her.
Well, think
And
about
she's
how
just-
bipolar would you be to have a mom and a dad on complete opposite sides of the a political fucking spectrum. Like that would just fucking make me
That
insane.
it could be. They could have they could have a whole grift going to they both made a
You're
lot
right.
of money. They both made a lot of money during the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And part of that shit, their discourse is attributed. Let's go ahead and bring in our guests. They're chomping at the bit, and if I don't do it now, Marcus will forget, and they will be.
Forget. That's fair.
No.
I'll take that.
He wouldn't
Anyway.
dare.
I went there. First, can we see what you are wearing?
yes.
Upset the setup and
Looking good. Yeah. Give it up to our guests, Jo and Coach. Thank you all for being on. We really appreciate y'all. Tell everybody a little bit about yourselves and what y'all do.
All right. Well, I'm Jo. This is Coach. We run A League of Our Own, which is the only queer women's bar in the city and one of 15 left in the country. What makes us different? Oh, there's our bar. I like to say that they modeled the butt on that logo after me. I say that because I'm really old. I'm Armenian.
Some ass
so
right there.
Right, I'm Armenian, so I have a butt. So, but yeah, so we run it, and the thing that's cool about us is because we're in charge, we get to do things like follow an enthusiastic model of consent, which means anything less than hell yes is a no, including taking shots. If people don't all agree to take shots, then we don't serve them. And that's a weird thing for women, especially because women are really good at being docile because society taught us to be like that, which all leads back to capitalist, white supremacy. So we're doing our little bit to like break that down. And it's cool because we get to teach these like youngins who come into DC for college to hold people to higher standards. So, and with that, we get to do a lot of cool stuff. But I've been taking notes, first of all, and I think Boo can attest to this. Yes, white supremacy.
Yeah, fucking gross.
Bad.
We ruin everything.
The worst.
The worst.
We're the reason we can't have nice things.
Absolutely.
No shit, right?
Yeah,
100%.
And if more white people could figure that out, we probably would have a step in the right direction.
And here's the thing: white people figured it out. White people know that shit. They just don't want to be uncomfortable, so they live with the benefits and privileges of their white supremacy, and it's gross. And they need to be able to tell the truth and say it out loud. A lot would change if we could do that as a whole.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I've been taking notes because I'm also a parent, and I feel like what Val was saying about bad behavior and ego, and I also think with parenting, like I've been thinking about this story when my kid was really little. The only tantrum they ever threw, they were like 3 years old, threw themselves on the floor, and then like looked at me like, "What do we think?" And I walked away. Because the attention is what they're after when they're. So I agree that like this guy is like the poster child for all publicity is good publicity, and so if we can ignore him. But on that note, I can't wait for Barron to get a Twitter.
Because I mean,
That's a
also,
good point.
he's like, I'm not qualified to diagnose anybody by any means, but he's fully shows signs of narcissism, Donald Trump. And so the only thing that keeps a narcissist alive is relevance, and that fuels the fire. And so ignoring, and which is why all publicity is good publicity. He doesn't need positive reinforcement. He just needs somebody to be paying attention, and he's like fired up about it. So as soon as, I mean, his health, I will feel like will decline with his relevance.
I honestly, I have this feeling
I agree with that.
with him not being the nexus of the fucking universe.
Ooh.
It hurts his feelings.
And he really fucked
does.
himself because he I think maybe he doesn't know this about himself consciously, but that's true for him, that relevance is important. And there's no more relevance than president of the United States. So it actually didn't matter if people stop paying attention to him or kind of pay attention to the level they did before. It's still so much less than presidency. It would kill him either way. Like it would ruin his.
I mean, think about this dude who's used to like just sitting on Twitter and just going ham.
It's like sitting on the toilet and like tweeting out. He doesn't
have any of that stuff. And like, okay, to anybody out here who's like screaming about censorship or whatever, all of these social media platforms are privately owned. With their own terms of service. Censorship, your violation of the First Amendment, that's the government trying to shut you up.
When the government handed him a microphone.
You are not protected.
No, the government shutting Twitter down would be messed up.
The Constitution does not guarantee that you get to be on Twitter. It does not guarantee that you get to have a fucking Facebook or a MySpace or a fucking fans only or whatever.
That's a refuse service.
Fans only.
Like we reserve the right to refuse service.
Yeah. And also, Twitter's a free platform. So also, you're not. It's like no.
You're not paying for it.
Down somewhere.
I mean, we have a friend that's been banned for life from Twitter, so it's.
I'm trying to imagine like those first few days of withdrawal for him to not be able to
do anything.
Like that first time when he reflexively reaches for his phone to tweet and he's like,
well, do we not talk about, I don't think we talked about that first few days that he had been banned from Twitter. He was like psychotically like trying to like post from he would open different Twitter accounts and then they'd get shut down and then he'd try another one.
He's not enough to open a burner account. He keeps using the same password. It's like
or he'd like try to like from some other like platform or someone else's
different spellings of Café.
But I thought he did have a burner account. Didn't he have a burner account?
He might have tried to start a new one and then they shut it down pretty quickly. Yeah. He was also like trying to post from
what was Mitt Romney's burner account?
Top 2 most wanted, so they're waiting for him to get an account.
Well, absolutely, and I think too, I just am enjoying the idea of him because he couldn't not watch the inauguration. There's no fucking way he wasn't paying attention. Yeah, exactly. And I just can't. I just wish I could fully wrap my head around him experiencing the Black excellence that was that inauguration. Andrea Hall, the fire captain from Folsom County, Georgia, who led the pledge in ASL. I mean, that got me more than Kamala's speech because DC, we have such a huge deaf community, and that nobody said shit about it. She just walked up there, fly as shit in her uniform, and started reciting
with her white gloves on, and that was
it
so
turns
good.
out I looked into her. She's a child of deaf parents. That's why she's fluent in ASL. So
you know what? Izzy asked me. She's like, "Daddy, why is she doing that with her hands?" I was like, "Cause maybe she either is or maybe she has loved ones that are hearing impaired."
We actually had at the bar, we brought in an ASL teacher, so we know a couple of signs for the bar. Like your friend is too drunk.
At Rock and Roll Hotel, because we get a lot of Gallaudet kids. Like we at one point were attempting to do the same, but deaf drunk people are about as reasonable as drunk people that can hear. Perfectly well. It kind of sort of became a moot point. Like,
we just learned about like how to order certain things. So like whiskey is rock hands. I can't see where I'm at. Rock hands knocked together. That's whiskey.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone.
I've seen that. I didn't realize that.
When I was there, everyone had sidekicks.
Yeah.
What's this? What's this?
They would type.
The letter B is more.
I know this is more. So I know like kid sign language. Like I know how.
Like I
know sit. I know stop. I know stop. Play.
No.
I've always been
Jamie, what were we saying?
I've always been a big fan of giving like a piece of paper, like, hey, just tell me what the hell you want. But you also have those drunk idiot moments where they're like, at Wonderland, we used to take the chairs at like 10 o'clock. Everybody's coming in to get stupid or whatever like that. And this guy was like, he wrote down the paper, I'm deaf. And I was like, the fuck does that have to do with you standing?
Cool.
But for the 2 seconds I did have an internship at Gallaudet, my personal favorite of all time was this.
Bullshit?
Bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I found out, when I was like, I love it.
I used to love my first gig in DC was at Apex, which was at 22nd and P. It was like this, the last of the like hidden gay clubs because from the outside, and actually we have
a Bernie.
Yeah, speaking of a Bernie meme, somebody put him outside of Apex.
I saw that.
And
back in the day, throwing it back.
Hell yeah! But
what I loved about Apex was that it was like the nightclub, but then there was always like karaoke upstairs.
Yeah, and the video bar, like because we want to watch music videos in a bar is always cracking me up because I'm like, are you watching this right now? But Gallaudet kids would come into Apex, and I was always impressed with this like mad dark, like bumping loud, jostling, and they'd be having the calmest conversation. Like people are screaming at each other to be heard, and they're just like signing so quietly and calmly. It was cool. But yeah, Andrea Hall was definitely my favorite part of the inauguration. She,
yeah, I love that also.
She kicked man.
Not my favorite part, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. Doug is like doing a great job being
second gentleman,
yes,
background player, following suit of all like the most amazing.
So
I'm all about Doug because like it's like literally, hey fellas, listen, we ain't gotta be the big ones right now. Stand back.
Yeah, that's
Doug the entire time was just
he's
like
got one job. He's got one job. He's got one job. That job is to not be messy.
My new favorite phrase is that.
Don't be messy.
Is shut the fuck up and be. Look, you're
and just be there. Just be there.
Just be supportive. Just keep.
Yeah, that's my new favorite phrase of the year is the second gentleman. Like I love all of that.
So good.
I love that.
Don't go to him. Oh, so wait. Speaking of Apex, thoughts on the dearly departed Phase 1?
So Phase 1, I worked at Phase 1 when it shut down. Like I had shifts that weekend, and we got a mass message saying we're not opening back up. It's a hard thing because it was such an older generation. I mean, it used to be at Phase 1 in the old days, you weren't allowed to go in without a woman. Like you weren't allowed because it was a Navy yard, and they would have like Marines come in and harass people. So it really fucked people up in DC. I mean, Phase 1 was like a cult classic. People were really obsessed with that place. I was never really cool enough to work there. Like really cool people worked there, and like it was like what you aspired to. But it's sad. It's always sad, and it's such. I've talked about this when town closed as well.
Yeah, I've said that.
Yeah, DC shifts so quickly. Like people were so heartbroken about town closing. Those dudes made a mint.
Yeah,
got their
really
weed pot out and made a mint. So it's unfortunate because like Alan Carroll, who owned Phase, he didn't like he couldn't afford it. It's not like he got anything out of losing,
he got
you know.
Right.
I think it's an interesting thing because we have so many like staples that are closing in COVID, and nobody ever thinks it would happen to their spot. Like no one ever, you can't even fathom it when you have that kind of popularity.
I'd like it even wrap my head around what the future is going to be like for this city.
For this industry? It's wild. Well, I think I was talking to, it might have even been Val. I was talking to somebody the other night, and I was like, bartending and service industry used to be, like, you could always find a gig. If you were good, you could find a gig. If you needed to like pick up something around the holidays, if you could, and I think that the safety in our industry is not, and we've always had some tumult with that, with like 77, and even just like shit, if I sprain my ankle and I have a shift this weekend, like I
also think like because COVID and we've been all locked up in our houses, and like it's human. As humans, we're built to connect, and in DC, the food industry, the bar industry is so prevalent in connecting people. I hope that on the flip, when we get to go into these places calmly and safely, that people realize the value of their servers and their pieces, and they start to see like, oh, without y'all, I am not mentally well. Like you help me feel better and start to value that at a little higher rate than I think we took advantage of, and people took advantage of, and previous to this.
When all this started, that virtual tip pool let people know how valuable they actually were. Because at Looking Glass, they were like, hey, sign up for it. And I was like, ain't nobody going to send me no fucking money. Mm-hmm. And then like 24 hours later, I was like, holy shit, I have $600.
In my Venmo, yeah.
Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
or just the amount of like time that we all spend with each other. Days off, you're sitting at somebody's bar that you know.
Somebody,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well,
I mean, like people that I wouldn't even expected to send me me money. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, like, and there's one girl who I mean, I wasn't like I didn't know her well. Like she would come for happy hour and maybe stay for an hour, get like a couple glasses of red wine, and she has continued to give me money. Like she sent me money every so often. She'd be like, can't wait to do happy hour again, and she'll give me like $20, you know.
So
like
is virtual
it's so nice.
Still a thing? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, it's
No,
still, active.
That's cool.
A holiday, a couple regulars got together and threw us like a holiday tip, and they were like, all the time we haven't spent there, we would have. This is for that. Like,
what?
Awesome.
That's love, dude.
Too, I think because for us in the queer community, losing phase particularly, people were like, when we opened, people were like, shit, we got to keep you all open. Like,
yeah,
and have that sort of sense
that just got me like right.
Yeah.
That's
no,
awesome.
I was right.
Smack to the feels.
Yeah, and I mean, we needed to balance out all these people that like. There's that cross section of people where COVID has not brought out the nice in them. It's like amplified.
It's wild to me. How is that possible?
Amplified it, and so yeah, I feel like the more we can get on the positive end of it. I mean, like a lot of people aren't working, and a lot of people don't have the financial means, but hopefully they can at least get appreciation and just the general energy that they give to people when they can't afford to go out.
Yeah.
You know,
And I would say like the queer culture, especially like queer women, trans community, because we don't have spaces that are ours that we can feel safe in regularly, they really value that. And I think that more than people coming up when we were open and everybody loving our space and telling us how important it was, in COVID, understanding how much they were behind us. You know, and they were like, what do we have to do? How can we show up? And it was and they're also conscious of what you're saying. Like there are some people that don't have jobs and can't throw money that they would have normally. So I do have a job. I'm making the same thing I was before. I'm not going out. I'm not spending money like I was. So let me up mine to cover somebody that maybe lost a job and would have spent money there and like help support you all.
It's been cool to see how much DC is. I always say this, like DC is such a small town, like the feel of it. And people are always so surprised by that. And I'm like, tourists don't get it. There's my cat.
Yeah. Well, they fuck around in Washington. They fuck around downtown in Washington. Like we're
not where we
know, DC is its own thing. Like it's
all those places. I remember when not necessarily realizing how bad this was until we got to like month 2 and ESL closed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When ESL
closed, certain places don't close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, oh shit. Like this is
hard.
The thing. And then you go on Prince of Petworth and there's that running list of finding out your friends. Like I hate when I get the phone calls now, people are like, oh, are there any opens at Looking Glass? I'm like, man, I wish.
Dude, right. Big Hunt was one that really stuck for me.
Yeah.
Like I loved that bar. Like Big Hunt was my fucking jam, dude. Like I'm just like I'm never gonna go to fucking Wing Night ever again. I used to have my fantasy football drafts there. Like that place is like.
I mean, yeah, you lived above the place, so you.
I lived above.
I imagine you lived there as well.
I living room.
I mean, like
I definitely have hung out there in my fucking pajamas.
I went there in college. Like I know my cousin went to Catholic. And they used to have all of their like reunion things at Big Hunt. I know that a lot of the some of the classes at Georgetown Day School, like they would do their yearly like reunions, like Thanksgiving reunions. They do it at Big Hunt. Like the Big Hunt was a staple for the native Washingtonian community for a lot of them. You know, I mean, that was a big one.
Marcus, I feel like Britta needs to like sign you for a commercial or something.
Yo, we can add them. We can add them to the list.
We can add them to the Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Marcus, Bing some shit.
Bing,
Look, they
Mad
didn't know
Dog.
what that thing was.
Or now Britta. Now Britta.
Now Britta's got a TikTok,
I
and
mean,
that's how
man,
you're
they're
gonna.
on the course.
Think about how many people would buy Britas if they knew they could like distill their own whiskeys.
Absolutely.
And
You'd be a hero.
Little shit, waiting to punch people.
Thanks, Sheeta.
Sheena's so excited to come back to DC.
Right?
Yeah, to do.
What you think was going to happen when you moved from DC to go to wherever southern place you went? I lived in the South for like 10 years. DC's awesome.
DC is awesome.
So that's funny. There was a meme that was going around for a couple days earlier this week, and it was like the country broken up into districts. And
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, and all these people were like the South, whatever district. I think they were like District 4. Oh yeah, District 4, the South. And I was like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
No, where we are, the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, like we fucking win, bro.
We
Like,
win all day.
literally, like
All day.
if it
All
wasn't
day.
for this,
We're talking,
we're
what's that Katniss Everdeen shit stuff, right?
we
That's
beat, and y'all already lost in y'all already lost the war. So like,
Well, white people.
Wait,
y'all
gay marriage has been around longer than the fucking Confederacy.
y'all lost the war,
My email stays longer.
and most of your white people are walking around dirt poor, thinking they're better than everybody else.
Gina, I can't wait.
So bad.
Can't
Like,
wait.
You're like delusional. It's done. It's over.
Things
No trophy. You lost. Go home.
Right. You know how
Hang it
many
up.
things have been along longer than that fucking flag was up, you little piece of shit?
I got a Confederate statue at the bottom of a river with your fucking name on it. Go get it. How about that?
I love the video of the statue in, I think it was London, and there was like, they tossed it off a bridge, but the number of people who were like angrily helping get that statue over the railing was like, it felt like liberation.
Yo, and the Brits are crazy. They'll straight like go fisticuffs with the cops because the cops don't shoot people like they do here.
Yeah, they do.
So like you will literally watch these dudes like ballroom brawl with dudes in riot gear. It's
Hell yeah, the Russians were throwing snowballs at the cops at a protest this week. Like I was like,
like it's a fucking soccer game. They're like the game just let out.
So what do you think? What do you think about?
My team lost. I'm ready.
What do you think about those riots over in Russia going on right now?
So weird thing is that I didn't realize that it was happening. I live two doors up from the Russian embassy, and the other day I could hear them screaming, and I was like,
Val, you gotta hold up your Mad Dog with your pinky out and say that again.
What am I saying? What am I saying?
Russian embassy.
I live 2 doors down from the Russian embassy.
I mean, it's not exciting. I live like
No, it's just a very DC fucking thing. I just thought it was funny. That's all.
Yeah, he's right.
it's on Wisconsin Avenue. Like, so I live
Like, it's
two
a
buildings up.
It's a very possible thing to happen in this city. Is all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all like, and the funny thing is my car was parked like right in front of where they were. Huh?
So the yelling, was it good? Like, what kind of yelling? Are we talking like?
I just heard them screaming. Like I heard, and I was
it
like,
in
I don't
Russian?
understand. It was so people were protesting
Protesting outside the embassy.
across the street from the embassy. Yeah. So there's this empty lot across the street from embassy, which fun fact, my friend who works for some government law enforcement, I don't know what it is because he wouldn't tell me. But he told me that plot is empty because they're like the I don't know who owns it, and there's like a little bit like secret tunnels over there.
There's secret tunnels everywhere.
Some scandal shit.
Anyways, that's where they were protesting, and they had like they had speakers, and there's music and a bunch of
with techno going off. I mean,
well, there was like they had do I have
Russian
a picture? I think I might have
techno.
taken a picture. They had posters, but it was all in Russian, so I had no idea what they were saying.
I didn't see Adidas fucking Adidas
Artemis,
outfit.
thank you for that, by the way. Like,
But I didn't know what they were protesting. I felt badly. I was like, what are they yelling about? And I saw, like, there was one name that I saw, you know, so then I looked it up and I was like, oh, this guy who is like opposition of Putin and his political party, and he was arrested.
Oh yeah, he was there. He's their Bernie. It was like Bernie.
And that's when they were
Bernie
telling
came
me.
back.
And he's been
Bernie
arrested.
came
His
back and
wife,
snatched him off the plane.
so his wife got arrested. Like, I mean, they have thousands of people who are arrested in Russia. She was one of the people who've been
Oh yeah,
arrested
I saw a video
for
of like, one of
protesting.
his supporters. I saw a video of one of his supporters, some lady. She's just standing there talking to like a bunch of people out in this fucking out in the streets, and the cops just bulldoze their way through the crowd, snatch her up, and just disappear into the crowd.
And I love that, like, Putin now is like, he's like blaming the U.S. He's saying that like we are like interfering in their like politics.
Keep in mind, keep in mind, they fucking poisoned this guy a couple months back too in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, wait.
So
I am failing in my due diligence here. Before we delve even deeper into this, please take this moment. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. Please like and share on all of our favorite platforms, Facebook and Instagram, the District of Misfits, Twitter at DC Misfits. Please check out our YouTube channel and subscribe there, the District of Misfits Show. Oh wait, is the District of Misfits Show.com still a thing, Marcus? I thought we had decided to
It's still there.
It's there. It's
What happens if
one.
I go on there right now? What am I going to find if I go on there right now?
Our picture.
Our picture,
Our
right?
picture.
With the placeholder. I'm not trying to bust your balls, but I'm trying to bust your balls.
Can we do it after the show, maybe then?
I don't know, I just
We're also on Twitch. Apparently, people are watching us on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch, District of Misfits, all one word. Shout out to the Twitch people. I'm not
How
on there
about
as I
Crushing
should be.
DC?
And then, yes, please support us and buy our wares at crushingdc.com. We appreciate the ever-loving shit out of you. Let's
That is a good
let's keep it
segue.
going. What
That's a good segue. What is coming soon? We should say.
Yeah, let's do it.
Valerie, you want to take this?
So
it, Val.
soon we will be promoting, debuting, as the Filipinos would say, the debut of of a new shirt that the lovely Jo McDaniel helped me to design.
And
She
that shirt is?
contributed, and it is queer as fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Val,
And-
considering how much we were drinking that day,
I
that
just
was
want to
awesome.
say,
It's amazing.
I just want to say, I remember this evening well. I drive, so I'm and we were chatting, and we were talking about all the shirts and how we got ours. I think in a sentence, I just said like, oh yeah, we're queer as fuck. So like, because we say that regularly in our life.
Coach, I want to thank you for your service.
And we're like, yeah, queer as fuck. That's right. We're super queer. So I remember that, and I was like,
queer.
and you're like, we should put that on a shirt. And I was like,
Right.
let's fucking go.
Well, that's the funny thing is you guys were like, we should put that on a shirt. And I was like, hold please. I can do it right now.
Immediately like, designing, pulling Joe. It was great. It was.
And I was like sitting there trying to like do it on my phone. And I wasn't 100% envisioning what you were saying, Joe. You kept telling me, like, how about doing it like this? How about doing it like this? And I kept trying to do it, and I was like, I don't understand.
Finally,
I was like, just draw it. Just draw it for me.
You know what I'm looking forward to, though? What I'm looking forward to is all of the myriad of color combos that we're going to come out with. Because the majority of our shirts, I mean, you know, our default is always a black t-shirt with white print, like, you know, great for every occasion. But this is going to be our palette for this shirt is going to be
all over.
I'm so excited for it.
We're going to go bonkers. It's going to be so much fucking fun. Around it. Yeah, it's like literally one for every goddamn occasion. Like 365 days of queer as fuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, back to like kids calling out their parents on Twitter because y'all were talking about Claudia Conway, and there's the girl whose mom got punched.
Oh yeah.
Who told her? And my kid is that kind of. My kid's 17. My kid is absolutely that kind of human. And in fact, has disowned my incredibly racist family in Florida. Since literally at the first debate, because it's the first time 17. That's when you really start like paying attention.
Right.
And I remember there were a kindergartner when Barack was, who I call my real dad, was elected. And I'm going to send a Queer as Fuck shirt to my very racist white supremacist Trump supporting mother. And I'm excited.
Multiple queer
I would love it.
It's the gift that's going to keep on giving and giving and giving, man. But
I love it.
In the last few years, you've seen in the media a lot that there's certain celebrities that would do certain things, like a particular realm, mostly country music or whatever, where people get really upset over their views and stuff like that. Like that new guy, Kane Carter, right? A bunch of people love him or whatever, but he just just refuses to be like racist. Yeah, basically. You know what I mean? Which like gives him a whole nother audience because a lot of people are just sick of seeing their grandfather say nigga in the car. Plain and simple.
Today, we're done with that.
You have to start. I think this generation, like us, the ones under us or whatever, are actually starting to get sick of this shit. Where it's like, for us, it's like, all right, cool, Dad, you said something racist or homophobic or whatever like that. But like, we've gotten to a point where it's like, yo, I'm actually sick of fucking hearing it, yo. Like, I'm sick of your shit. There's this whole case in point. One of my favorite video games last year, and everyone's all pissy about it or whatever like that. Last of Us 2. Female lesbian protagonist. All these boards blow up. They're like, oh, they're posting homosexuality on us. And I'm like, yo, gay people have always existed. I don't know what you mean forced.
Greatness has been forced on me my whole life.
Right. No, it's right there. The proof is in the fucking pudding. Yeah. The shit just didn't pop up last week.
I'm gay. Dude's not in front of me. So clearly it's not something you catch.
Right, dude. Look. Dudes have been sucking dick forever. I'm just saying. This ain't new shit. You know what I mean? This shit goes back to fucking what? Desi Arnaz and I Love Lucy and shit. They're forcing Mexicans on us. I hate to tell you. It's a whole country, cuss. Like, you know what I mean? Sammy Davis Jr. being in the fucking movie. Black people exist.
Right.
I hate to tell you, have been around way probably longer than a lot of you motherfuckers. So what I'm saying,
I agree. And this bullshit about your racism is your heritage. Like Betty White, for all intents and purposes, was a nice white lady who got her show canceled because she wasn't going to take the black tap dancer off her show. That was years. Like, we know better.
Decades ago.
Knowing better.
Can I say one of my favorite stories that ever happened to me? It was probably 10 years ago-ish, 15 years ago in North Carolina, right after I moved from Rehoboth to Wilmington, North Carolina, who had one overthrow of the government, which I never did that when I lived there. I was day drinking and was very intoxicated, and at a stoplight, I saw one of those heritage signs that's not hate is my heritage. I'm a little crazy and a little drunk. I went on the window, I'm like, and just started talking shit. At a stoplight, got fisticuffs at a stoplight in the middle of downtown Wilmington. Surprise! I mean, luckily I'm white, so I didn't get arrested. If I was Jamie, I would have got arrested. But I love that story because, I mean, we just straight up, I mean, I was probably getting my ass whooped, but I was drunk, so I didn't feel it. But we were just fucking.
When you are.
And then the light turned green and we got in the car left.
When you are black, brown, when you are LGBTQ or whatever the alphabet soup we're talking about nowadays, whatever you have something particularly that's different outside of being a white guy, the future is always better. One of the first Macy's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the Woolworth building, they used to walk around with models so people could see what the clothes look like. And then in the 60s, they got a black model. And they literally had to put a sign up front saying that you will not be buying the clothes worn by her specifically.
See, that pisses me off. I mean, I know
and doesn't surprise me. White supremacy.
Right.
When I say that, the future is always better. That fucking stupid ass question that always goes around. Wrong decade. Nah. I'm going forward because I don't want to go back to Jack Horse shit because I'm gonna get into a fucking fist fight. It's not gonna be fucking fun for me. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where, like, we have to realize, it's better now than it was, but it can always still be better than what the fuck it was, and it's going to keep getting better.
True.
Because we're starting to acknowledge the fact that, Fuck you, baby boomers. You make me sick. You drive me fucking crazy. You're pieces of shit.
I really agree.
I mean, like I said, I lived in North Carolina for a while. I lived in New Orleans for a while, and as much as I love New Orleans, there's parts of it. It's still fucking Louisiana.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you, and even here, like
Pennsylvania versus the rest of Pennsylvania minus Pittsburgh.
Like here, I live in. I grew up near Rehoboth, so very safe spot for a lot of things. But when you go west, it's not. So I have to be careful, and I say this because I walked into a local pizza joint. I was leaving, and I saw a friend of mine who's black, Asian, and he's like, "What are you doing around here? You're one of the most hated people around here." Because I'm very. I mean, Val was there, so she heard it. Like, I say what I am, and it's Trump country in parts where I go. So I have to kind of be careful. I don't care because fuck them. I'll hit them with a stick or something. But it's like I kind of took pride in that because he was like. He knew I spoke the truth because him and I had been friends. I mean, we followed each other.
And he knew that, like, you supported him. Like,
exactly.
As a white man, you supported him. He literally was like, "What are you doing back here?" He was like, "You know, you're the most hated man in Delaware."
And I take pride in that because that means I'm doing what's right in this world and taking my white privilege and be like, "Fuck you." Fuck this.
It is very hard to have the conversations that suck, the ones that are very fucking uncomfortable.
Because you shouldn't have to have them.
You shouldn't have to have them.
You be on you.
It's emotional labor for you to wear your skin every day.
Again,
yeah, right.
You guys
so let me have that conversation.
You have to explain to somebody that you and your skin that you wake up every fucking day are XYZ.
Why is that an issue? Like, what? Right? Why? Why do you have to explain that?
I'm just sick of hearing it because people act like you're wrong, but when you give your explanation, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to hear it anymore."
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Uncomfortable conversations are what we have to have if we want fucking change.
Complete
America
sentences.
was stuck from the start. I mean, for a number of reasons.
Right,
One,
right.
we stole land and treated people like shit. That's gross. Two, we're built on capitalism from the start, which is so here
Yeah,
I
that's your people.
we capitalism breeds abuse because it is a competitive system which encourages a superior and inferior position. I'm better than you because I'm smarter, more money, whatever, and that is the dynamic that breeds abuse. And so oppression lives there, and we never had a chance. America never had a chance because it's built on abuse. It's like that's what capitalism is.
Right.
And until we until we all agree and have the level of intelligence necessary to do this, to say when you win, I win better, and if you're not winning, then mine doesn't count because you're essentially disqualified, which is a real shitty first place trophy as far as I'm concerned. And but white people don't care about winning that way.
White people don't want to lose their fucking power. They don't want to lose their power.
Here's the only way to like close that gap is if I might, as a white person, I'm going to get some more influential human, probably a cis white man with power, that says to me, well, if you abandon that stance of anti-oppression, I can help you thrive to here. And then the marginalized communities are thriving here. And I have to make a decision. I'd rather not thrive further and stand here and help this group come up to equity and give up the excessive thriving you're offering me. And that's how I get you to stop offering me that bullshit.
Yeah.
I honestly feel very good knowing that I can wake up in the morning and telling somebody to go fuck themselves because I'll sleep better at night.
Hell yeah. And frankly, I wear a t-shirt that says white supremacy is terrorism. And I'm, for all intents and purposes, I'm a nice white lady. And I'm in Adams Morgan. It's a pretty progressive part of the city, like at work. And I still see the nice white girls jogging by, like, offended and terrible.
Clutching their pearls.
Right.
Called on me an upper Caucasian. And like, you know what I mean? And I'm like not doing anything but selling drugs and being crazy. But
right there with you, Jamie.
Uber, then all of a sudden, boom, here it is.
Oh.
You know, like you gotta like in Petworth, mind you, like I'm the fucking man. Like the cops stop to say hi. You know, but you get up towards that area, it's just kind of like, oh man, this is where the white people are.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, even I'm uncomfortable there, so don't feel bad.
Marcus, well, I'm never going to call you Black Marcus. Shut up.
I'm not asking you to call me Black Marcus. I don't even know.
We
already have a Black Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus Coffee. I'll take the.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, he's there. So, anyways, speaking of white supremacy and crazy shit, I'm gonna shift gears and take this into the land of what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? There's a bunch of people that are like super like surprised and shocked and blown away that the former president did not pardon them for their attempted sieging the Capitol.
Stupid people.
I would like to take this moment out of my day to let them know that he pardoned 72 people in 20.
Little Wayne and Kodiak Black, he fucking pardoned before your white ass.
Pause. So, Buffalo Man walked in that place, got locked up.
Buffalo Man.
He's very
I like that.
He's not getting organic vegan food in prison.
Fuck that guy.
He went on a hunger strike.
If you got there earlier, you probably could have got some organic food.
He's going hungry.
Hungry.
I've been saying this like
Marcus, don't ever do that again.
it's just like I cannot believe like what the fuck did y'all think was gonna happen? You walked this ugly swamp monkey right here.
Dude. All right, so Jamie, you're only one of the only people I know that could use the word swamp monkey and no one's gonna cancel you. But Mike, I have a serious wait. I got a serious question. Was Lil Wayne in a situation where he needed a presidential pardon?
I don't think
Wayne's not.
I mean, like, and I feel like, and I feel like, is this a question that maybe we need to have someone smarter than us?
Like Ian.
Is a presidential pardon like a get out of jail free card that you just carry around in your pocket? So then when you do some dumb shit, you can be like,
I got this card.
I don't know. Does it work like that? I don't think it works like that.
No, Boo. Listen, there's literally no rules. So this right here is based off of like old serfdom, fiefdom. This is like king, queen, can do whatever the fuck you want type of thing. Now notice, presidents might maybe 1, 2, 3 people or whatever like that. This motherfucker pardoned 72. The rules are literally like, oh, the president can pardon whoever he wants, and that's it.
I still don't understand that. I still don't understand the whole presidential pardon thing.
You want to know why? Because 200 and some years ago, they did not think that this asshole
Lil Wayne. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't
they didn't think that this asshole was going to be president, just like they didn't think we were going to have automatic weapons.
But they weren't paying attention.
Black people might be free one day. They weren't thinking that far ahead. You know what I mean? Jefferson said it best. We should change the Constitution every 19 years because every generation should not be responsible for the next generation's issues.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that this is one of them things that they just missed because they didn't think that a dick like that was going to be president. And that is literally the simplest form to do it.
And, well, a couple of things on that. First of all, a presidential pardon is only for the past. So anything he does from the time Trump leaves office.
I'm like, why would you give a pardon to someone who's not in any kind of legal trouble? That's just so weird.
Wayne probably has charges on him for something.
He got locked up on a gun charge like 3-4 months ago.
Yes, yes, there's that. But also, like, you
Okay.
can pardon people. Like, they can pardon someone.
But like, if Lil Wayne goes out and does something tomorrow, that pardon doesn't mean shit.
Right.
He already gives him a clean bill, and it's not added on top of whatever he's already got. So.
Do you know who he should have pardoned, Jamie? Do you know who he should have pardoned?
Oh, watch your mouth.
Pennywise.
Look at, so I've been saying the whole time when Jamie took Hendrix to the head, I was like, Boob Belly's still not like 100%. And I feel like every time somebody goes to the head, pinky up or not, Boob's like,
I told you Jamie was gonna leave. I told you Jamie was gonna walk away.
I held up for as long as I could.
So you got a clown this year.
Dude, Marcus has been waiting to do that. Dude, you have no idea. Like the last couple of weeks when Jamie hasn't been on, you could tell Marcus has just been like
Marcus just like jonesing for like, you know, scratching.
He has so many of these.
Desperately.
I have so many in the gun. I got so many in the barrel.
So, hey, real quick, something I took the liberty of bringing the show with me on my little quick break, and I wanted to jump back on something. I think maybe it was Joe. We were talking about kids.
Yeah.
Shout out to kids. Shout out to these kids that are being raised by Gen Xers.
Hell yeah.
Kids with Gen X parents.
We
kids
bad.
with Gen X parents. We're the fucking first. Gen X is the first generation to really be like, nah, dog, this is not fucking like.
I am responsible.
The hippie. We had the hippies turn yuppies, and so we're like, okay, well, we're not going to turn out like you motherfuckers. We seen the boomers just be boomers and shit. So we're like, all right, well, we definitely not going to be like you. So we are the first generation to draw a line in the fucking sand. And we are raising kids where that shit is already just in their fucking DNA.
Yeah.
And
you punch a Nazi in his face.
More of it. Dude, somebody posted
punch a Nazi in his face.
No, my kid literally, after a BLM protest on 18th Street, my kid was there during the summer, and we had the streetery, and the bike cops were strolling around, and my kid's like, fuck the police. Like 17 years old.
It was like one cop walking down the middle of the street with their bike. And they're just like loud and direct and eye contact. Fuck the police. I was like, yeah, that.
And that cop was a regular of our bar.
They were pissed.
Yeah, and she went to our owner and was like, Joe's kid said fuck the police. And our owner comes to me and I was like, and so? So my kid is actually an autonomous human who's allowed to believe what they
right?
Right.
Excuse me, officer. I'm going to take him home and tase him for you. Sorry for that.
Sorry, you poor fucking baby.
How old are you, boo?
Me, I'll be 47 in a few weeks.
So I'm pushing 40. But anti-racism is good for the skin.
It is indeed.
That's why I don't look. I say all the time, like we were raised that we were a reflection of our parents, and now I'm like, I will not be the human who spawns a child into this world who doesn't have some fucking tools. It's like in The Hate You Give, when they talk about the talk that black parents have to have with their black children, the fact that white people are only now considering that they also have to have that talk with their white children is mind-boggling to me. Right. I'm like, the only reason the next generation has to worry about what it looks like when they walk down the street is because there are white kids not getting that talk. That's a responsibility. Your parenting is a responsibility. There should be fucking entrance exams.
And also the idea of not like the reflection thing, because like you're a reflection of your parents, that will traumatize and fuck you up royally. And it's like what I do is not personal to my mom and dad. I'm like
you are.
And I do think like your Gen X generation parents are like they aren't taking what their kids do personally. They're giving them the gift of like parenting and tools, and they're saying like, now go be great, and what you do is yours. You know,
this whole like the whole generational like bringing shame upon the I don't want to disrespect other cultures or whatever, but like just speaking from a generational standpoint, the things that you do are going to reflect poorly on your parents, so that's why they were like, and I'm a preacher's grandson. So, there was definitely some of that, in my family. But at the end of the day, like the difference between where we are and versus where our parents are is that, like if my kids, I am prepared for my kids to come up with opinions that I find to be disagreeable or unpopular.
How old are your kids?
10. My son's 10. My daughter's 8. They both just turned, so
they're about that. Yeah, you're coming up on their opinions.
Oh, dude, the other day, Izzy asked me why are so many people mad at the government, and I was like,
well,
when I told her, I was like, okay, so the people that you saw storming the Capitol, I was like, those people are mad at the government because they want white people to have everything and for black people to not have anything, and they're basically throwing a temper tantrum because they didn't get their way.
Spot on. Ding, ding.
I was like, now people like me, now people like me are mad at the government because, and then as well as you can explain white supremacy to an 8-year-old without destroying their innocence and whatnot, but like, things are set up in a certain way for people to succeed if they are from a certain background, and things are set up to be a lot harder for people like us.
Yeah,
and there's a lot and just that I was like, and there's a whole bunch of other reasons why people mad at the government because they're ruining the environment, because people would rather get paid than do the right thing.
Basically, the point is that everybody that is walking around here making decisions based on their ego is fucking up the world, and people that are making decisions based on humanity and giving a shit about the fact that you exist and I exist and we want to do that as healthily and peaceful as possible are doing the right thing. And unfortunately, the government, parents are full of fucking ego, and they're ruining things.
Chock full.
I will say part of the reason I turned out the way I did is because when I was like 8 years old, my parents were like, no, fuck that. You treat everybody equal. You are special. Everybody, brown, white, black, they're your equals. You're not you're not above this. And I come from a political family, and like that was beat into my head since I was a kid. So it's just like, treat everybody. I remember my parents.
You got to sip your Mad Dog with your pinky out when you say stuff like that.
I remember.
I grew up in a political family.
Here's the thing I remember. I remember this much when I was like 8 years old. I was going to like third grade. My mom, like out the door, was like, I don't care who you fall in love with, man, woman, brown, white, black. And at the time, it didn't dawn on me till I was like 21, doing coke in the fucking college bathroom. I'm like, fuck, my parents were really goddamn cool when I told that story. I was like, you know, when we do coke, we reflect on things about our parents. And I'm like, that was fucking awesome for my white parents to tell me at 8 years old.
Wow, Marcus. I hope your parents aren't watching right now.
My parents watch the show every week, so yeah.
They just watch the beginning, though. They don't watch all the way to the end.
But that's my point. Like, I was lucky that my parents were like, fuck this bullshit. Everybody.
Oh my God.
I just remembered it when I was doing coke in a fucking bathroom.
But it's all different
Exactly what Marcus
like,
is saying. I can understand exactly what Marcus is saying. So going to Howard, I was told that I grew up weird because in my house, nobody gave a fuck what you did. I have an older brother who was gay. You know, I got a set of twins with fucking everybody all over the place. It's yours, mine, and ours. My parents had gay friends, blah, 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 blah. I had gay friends at Howard. It was great. They brought me bitches and they had the best drugs. Who fucking cares?
Right.
You would get into these conversations with especially men from the South who I feel like are just the most closeted motherfuckers on earth.
If you did, I feel bad for anybody that grew up in like a homogenized environment.
Yeah, no, that's it. That was me. And even X Kenny talks about that so perfectly because he talks. He was a professor at AU. Now he's working at Boston University as books at the wazoo. He's been on all the most important shows. He's amazing.
Right.
And he talks about how it's like in the first, 3 months of birth that you start to identify like what types of people are safe. And so if as white people, we're really committed to raising children that aren't building these implicit biases, then we should have diverse adults around them that we hug and we let hold our kid and we say are trusted entities, right?
A white baby that has never been held by a black person before.
The face
is like some wild shit, dude. Like when I used to like pick my kids up from daycare back in the day, some of these little kids would just be like,
"Oh shit."
Taken aback.
I cannot understand how.
And I'm talking like a daycare in the city. I'm talking, you know what I mean? I'm talking daycare in the city. There's plenty of them, but I just can't imagine. Yeah, like
I can't relate in a race way. And because I am masculine presenting and I have this like feminine voice, and people are calling me she, little kids that have never seen a queer human, when I show up, they're like, "Mom, what is that?" Not just look at my nieces misgender me regularly, and then my older niece is like, that's Aunt Rachel, and I'm like, wow, what the fuck?
I feel like this. If you're having kids to live your dreams, if you're having kids to live somebody else's dreams or some rhetoric or whatever like that, you're fucking up. I had a kid because I want that child to be happy. So he can come in the house one day and be like, "Hey, like I want these 6-inch heels. What's your shoe size, bro?"
Come on, Jamie.
Listen, DJ can buy.
Hold on, give me a second. When you have children, your entire. I have a friend. It's the saddest story I can ever tell. I have a friend. His parents made him be an engineering major, and he wanted to be a dancer. And of course, he did what his parents did. And he killed himself at 32 years old. Yep. I literally said all he wanted to do was dance. I do not want to wake up one day and my son is unhappy in a career, living a life that he thought that I wanted to have. I want my son to wake up every day and be like, you know what? My old man told me to be happy. Let me go to be the fuck happy.
I'm having that conversation right now because my 17-year-old is like, I am not ready to be an adult. And I'm like, you will.
Don't.
Right. I'm like, there is no timeline. And they turn 18 this year in a couple of months. And so they're super like panicky about it. And because of societal pressures. And I'm like, baby, you go to college, you get a job, you decide what it looks like. I'm here.
When you're 18, go be an adult. Show me one goddamn. The majority of humans are not going to be an adult at 18. So like that, like messaging is false to like the actual statistics.
We are the only. I think the U.S. is one of the only countries that like legitimately enforces that whole when you graduate from high school, you're supposed to go away to college, and then once you go away to college and graduate, you're supposed to get your own place. And you know, like here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with like there's a whole stigma on like people that like live at home, and I think that like it depends on the situation and the context. Now, if you're an adult and you live at home and you still have the same dynamic that you did as a child with your parents, where they wait on you and you are basically just a grown child, you're not working, you're not contributing,
you're just living off of them,
the bills. That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem. Now, you continuing to live under the same roof with your family, and you are working and contributing to the bills, to the groceries, to the upkeep of the house, and it
doing
is
something,
and you are pooling your resources.
Yeah, that's
like,
okay.
That's smart.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like adults. That'd be like having a roommate. You're like partnering with your parents to be adults together. Like,
and I mean, now, we get to the point where you want to branch out and have a family. Then, but that's to me, I feel like would be the advantage of pooling the resources in the first place.
Up until that,
I mean, I think that what you're saying is what you said. Boo is true. Like culturally, it's very different. Like for instance, for the Filipinos, like, I mean, it's very common for people to be to have their family, your parents to be living with you. I mean, like, I know that for a long time, like my grandparents lived with us. Like, like it was just. It was just accepted that
Marcus,
you would have.
If you don't mute yourself when you cough, I'm going to jump through the internet and punch you in the throat.
I wish you would try.
He's Googling how to do it right now.
Push the fucking button and mute yourself. You
mute it.
Troglodyte.
Let me tell you how straight up the second Boo was saying that, I had this cough building up, and I was like.
I also wanted to say, Jamie, because you were talking about HBCUs earlier, and Stacey Abrams as well.
Yeah.
Graduated from the Black College. I want to say Spelman, but it might be Morehouse.
I think it was Spelman. Morehouse is group.
Morehouse for boys. I'm sorry.
There's something about the word thick throat that's very unsettling.
It's very important. I have questions about straight sex, though. I like to scream out throat goat.
Very, very, very unsettling.
Straight punch out growth, right?
Adopted sleep hole in the fuck is with the fart.
I think every sort of like gay person
there's a lot
kids is somebody's like gay aunt or gay uncle. I think that's a really common.
For me, growing up, my mom used to drive the buses for Metro, and she had a friend. Her name was Renee. And like before I knew what queer was or anything, at the young age of like 4 or 5, I knew Renee. Renee was different. Renee was mommy's homegirl. Renee was fucking awesome.
What group people are that?
Renee always fucking had hugs, was always like, and when she passed, like I remember just being crushed, man. Like she was closer than any aunt that I had. Like Renee was the fucking deal. Like,
I mean, queer people have been through some shit, so we get emotional intelligence a lot of times because we've had to deal with a lot of emotional trauma. Because it's such an different than race. I could put on a dress and try to look pretty, and people would be like, "Yeah, she's not
Jamie has a dress."
Coach, you could probably crush it on like an Annie Lennox tip. You know what I'm saying? That like,
no one said challenge accepted. How?
I will not. I will go right ahead. I will not.
Motherfucker
And you know what?
decided to be an adult in that one moment. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And she hits that motherfucking cigarette like a goddamn G. Like, I'll put on a dress, show you what these titties like, bitch. And
I can do it, but I don't.
am I about to you'll get crossed over right now? Like,
All right, so,
not for nothing.
I can't do that because I can hit on my gay men enough. I don't need men to hit on me too.
all right, real quick before we
Keep going.
yeah, no, just want to take a breath. Everyone, take a
Pay the
breath.
bills.
Take a sip. Take a sip, woosahs and all that. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share and subscribe on all the platforms. Facebook and Instagram, The District of Misfits. Twitter at DC Misfits. YouTube, The District of Misfits Show. Twitch, District of Misfits, all one word. And please go to crushingdc.com and buy our swag and support us. I felt like there was something else that we should add to the mix. Oh, yes. If you can't watch the show live and are interested in seeing it later, maybe just throwing it on the audio in the background while you paint your toenails or do the dishes or, contemplate the infinite possibilities of infinite
Life.
Possibilities. You can find us on most
Every.
of your favorite podcast consuming platforms.
iTunes,
Yes,
Spotify,
you can.
TuneIn Radio, Pandora. Yes, yes, and yes.
All
Yes
those
and yes and yes.
All those things.
So
Twitch.
Twitch and shit.
Yeah,
Twitch,
I
yeah.
wanted to tell Jamie because you told that sad story about your friend whose parents weren't supportive, and I love this story. Coach was featured in Tag Magazine, which is the local lesbian magazine run by a Black woman who's masculine and super awesome. But she was a woman you should meet, and in her picture, she's in a tie, and her father, who is small town Ohio, her father
My dad
posted
got work to do.
the
I got family
article.
in Dayton. I know about Ohio.
Yeah,
Hold on, I want to hear this. I wanna hear this.
You know,
so she grew up outside of Cleveland. So Doug Pike is, for all intents and purposes, small town white man, right?
Mm.
But he posted her article with her in a tie with the caption, "My baby girl." And I know, I fully.
Why am I having tears in my eyes right now?
Her parents are, we have work to do, but her parents are
this is
amazing.
the thing, and for any parent out there listening, for myself, the only way you can parent incorrectly or poorly is not to love your kid unconditionally. Even if you've got work to do, if you love them unconditionally, you can find your way to the work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think first, Marcus, don't mute me like that again.
you was about to step all over Coach, bro.
We had a
You were
conversation
about to do it.
beforehand, Jamie.
I was not going to interrupt fucking Coach, so watch your fucking mouth, whore. What I've come to realize in my old age of being a parent is my level of sensitivity is through the fucking roof.
Oh yeah.
My son just threw up all over my shirt and noticed the change. Or whatever.
Oh, we noticed. We were gonna let you slide, dude.
Okay.
We were gonna let you slide, but
He threw up
you
all
brought
over
it
my
up.
shirt. He wiped his mouth off like this on the shirt that I had on, which already had throw up on it. That's why I ran so fast. But he literally just goes, "Dad, I'm sorry. I love you."
No.
Crushed.
And,
Why am I gonna cry again for baby Jamie?
And
You just told me that story, and mind you, I don't know you from a can of motherfucking paint or your goddamn dad. But again, that is just when I hear stories like that, I'm always like, yo, we still love each other out here, yo.
Yeah.
We
can
still-
do it.
Well, and that's what COVID, I think,
It's
has
not wrong.
done.
It's like, yo,
It's like,
that's my baby girl.
yeah,
do
that's
that.
my baby girl.
Yeah.
And she's 35 years old, but like that was his take on that very
yeah.
masculine photo of her was amazing. But I think it's in COVID, we've figured out how we're helping people. With the bar, we've really been able to help out mutual aid groups and like Night Kitchen, bar. Oh, that's
Oh, Artemis.
And then a Barfy shirt at least. Yeah, no, he changed. He had a white shirt on earlier. But like Kaya Kitchen is this awesome not-for-profit that we help support. Kaya Parker is a local DC resident. She's a hero. She takes has a food bank that's at Minnesota Avenue Station. There's a lot of people who don't know that east of the river is a food swamp. You cannot get fresh produce if you live east of the river. And I work east of the river in my day job, so I'm all the way down MLK by the big chair. And in Anacostia, there's no grocery stores.
Yeah, it's a desert.
They're like, people are like, oh, we're gonna put in a Whole Foods. Like,
when they closed the bridge for security for inauguration, I was like, what the fuck are those people gonna do?
What are they gonna do?
Right?
Right.
What the fuck are these people gonna do?
And that's why Kaya's group is amazing. She has all these local places that donate produce, and she literally hands out produce and plant-based recipes because, as we know, diabetes and hypertension are wildly prevalent in not just Black communities but poor Black communities. So she's teaching people like how to cook with vegetables at home and be able to afford it
and supplying products.
Right. So I just think like that was something that like she had time because COVID had her at home, and she like created this not-for-profit to not only like provide that but raise awareness. I say it all the time to like, we're in Northwest, our bar. The nice white kids who come to college at Georgetown and AU and these like these white neighborhoods that have everything. You can walk to Harris Teeter and the Wegmans and the Trader Joe's all
and the Whole
there.
Foods.
Oh,
And
man.
Yeah,
I would
they don't
kill to
even
go to a
know.
Wegmans.
I love it.
So real fast, Joe and Coach, can you give us the shout outs to the things you asked us to shout out earlier?
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so I mean, I think that like that was like a good segue into like some of the things that you guys are supporting.
Support hard is Feed the People Mutual Aid, and one of the major impact players in that is charity. And I had a conversation with her for our New Year's Eve bash, and one of the things that she said that I just couldn't get enough of was about how what they do is not, they don't call it, her name is Charity, but they don't call it charity because it's solidarity. We're all just people out here trying to survive, and it's a reallocation of resources. And it's not like, let me give my abundance to a needy human, but like, let me reallocate my resources that I've got extra of and stand in solidarity with an equitable human, right?
So FCP is in DuPont Circle every Saturday. They take donations of both food, toiletry items, and clothing. So they lay out tarps and just lay coats out, and then the unhoused comrades around the city can just come to the circle and take whatever they need.
And if you're not gonna volunteer or be physically there or whatever, one of the things in their bio on Instagram that we were just showing is a link to an Amazon list, essentially,
Like a wish list.
where they like talk to the community members that are in need, and they find out what they need most. So if you're wanting to donate or give money, then you can donate very specific things that are actually urgent in need.
Yeah.
So they do a great job.
Also, I go live every other Wednesday on Aloho's Instagram. The show's called Hey Joe. I highlighted Kaya Parker on the first time from Kaya Night Kitchen. I've highlighted Tag Magazine's editor, Ebony Bells, which is people in the community. We sit and have a 30-minute conversation sort of about their businesses or not-for-profits and what they're doing. And then just to keep the community getting to hang out, every Monday at 7, Coach hosts a Zoom call called Clickin' with Coach, where you can just sit and have drinks or not have drinks and hang out. It's basically like being at the bar without the bar.
Yeah.
So she keeps people safe. She doesn't let anybody get shitty, and we just have a bit of a chat.
I'm head of security, so it's like in my blood. I can't help it.
Right on.
And I'm not gonna lie, in COVID, I'm like itching to like kick somebody out of the bar.
Hey, you know what? You gotta stay limber. You gotta stay limber. You can't let those muscles atrophy.
That's right.
Val, if you sniff one more time in that motherfucking microphone and not blow,
What I do?
I'm going to kill you.
She's crying. She's crying.
But you know,
That's emotional.
This is emotional.
Thank you, Megan. We'll check out Fuel the People too. I appreciate it.
So what we'll do is we're
also crying, and
So-
I'm able to hold back the tears because I turned down the what you call it on my camera, so you couldn't see him. Crying my ass off for like the last 5 minutes.
Oh, you muted yourself to cry?
No, I didn't mute shit. I turned down the resolution on my camera so y'all couldn't see it.
So, Joe, to give you a little bit more celebrityism, can you tell us about
celebrityism?
I like to say celesbian.
Celebrityism,
Sure.
whatever. Lesbian, whatever. So I started following you 2 or 3 years ago because of what?
Because I won the Stoli Key West Cocktail Classic.
Yeah, Joe.
My body looked good in 2018. So hot.
The champ is here.
So Stoli hosts a queer bar.
This is my favorite picture, though.
Isn't it?
I love that.
Listen, those trophies are not light. My arms were. I mean, my body looked fucking sick. Like, good. I can't wait to be old and look at these pictures again and be like, God damn it, I'm awesome. Yeah. So I got to go to Key West and represent DC. I was the first woman DC sent to this event. I won the regional at Nellie's in 2018, and I got a little bit of like lesbian notoriety. And we, you make a cocktail. The thing that fucks people up is I never have been a mixologist. I don't have herbs in any of my drinks. I don't know how to do that. I started at a club. I've always been volume. I can throw out 300 vodka sodas in an hour, no sweat. But if somebody starts saying words I don't understand, I only learned about Fernet in my 30s. So it's taken me a while to like get on that level. Although I will say, Jamie, I do drink Hendrix in my G&Ts. So I know it tastes good. But yeah, so I got to do this cool thing. You're mic'd and you talk about why gay bars are important, why like representation is important. And yeah, I got to like do that. And that's what led to me getting the gig opening A League of Her Own, because suddenly somebody knew about a queer chick bartender who wasn't Sheena Marie.
Give it 15 seconds. I want to see what Sheena Marie's fucking.
I know, she's gonna comment.
Oh, it's
I'm missing you, my fucking bitch.
Well, I actually was fortunate. I got to bring Sheena in as a guest bartender for a ladies' party at A League of Her Own. We did a charity party last year, and she was our guest bartender. And it was the first time I had seen a lot of the really awesome queer bartenders in DC actually come to the bar, because by and large bartenders don't drink at my bar because it's a big space. Like we're not people. Like COVID has been hard for me because I have to come around from behind the bar. Not a fan. I don't like that at all. Nick Miller in New Girl said never cross the bar. He was right. For 15 years I have known he was right, and now I have to go to tables because people have to stay seated, and I hate it. In fairness.
It changes the power dynamic
entirely. I like my 3x3 box and just being the bitch with the booze. Now I gotta go mask. They can't even see my smirk. It's hard. Definitely.
See the side eye.
Yeah, the smirk.
The perk is when they're shitty, you can say things under your mask and they don't see you say them.
See, I like saying
that's my favorite. That's my favorite part, where I can be like,
go check the Looking Gas Yelp reviews. James Roderick has not stopped being a piece of shit. I will tell you what type.
Dude,
so
stop. We need that to be a segment, dude. Why are we not reading Jamie's Yelp reviews on this show? What the fuck? Why the fuck are you not?
We used to play this game. Guess what bartender did it?
Oh my God! Why are we not playing? Why have we not tapped this resource? What the fuck, dude?
One of my favorite responses, because security, everybody always wants to tell security, I'm writing a Yelp review on their way out the door, and I'm always like, great, I'm gonna Yelp review you. and it's weird.
I've had people sit at my bar and tell me that they are Yelpers and be immediately like, all right, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
If you yell, honestly speaking, I don't want you in this bitch any goddamn way.
No, your opinion don't mean shit to me.
No one's better for you being in here.
No. Like, you're not gonna make me happy with your $4 tip on $30. Like you can literally and shit. I don't fucking care. People who say shit like that, like, oh, I'm never coming back. It's like, promise.
Right. Saved me a whole lot of headache.
I was gonna suggest that as well.
Actually, I believe that. don't come back.
Although
Okay.
my favorite getting kicked out story of all time was I worked at Little Miss Whiskey's and Ellis was managing and was kicking somebody out. They were too drunk. And you know at Whiskey's how the door is glass and then they have the sign that says door. This bitch tried to duck under the sign and go through the glass door. And she hit it and fell backward. And Ellis and I, like, we just looked at each other like, I don't even, what? No more awesomeness for straight girls forever.
Hey, Joe, when did you work at Little Miss Whiskey's?
So I worked there.
Marcus, like you remember.
I was drunk.
2014's H Street Festival was my first shift. And then
So I probably met you a long time ago because I used to live on H Street.
First of all, I really just got sad because we haven't had an H Street festival.
I know, festival was so, and it was the last really big one. I feel like.
But for your first gig anywhere on that street to be H Street
H Street Festival is horrible, dude.
I was checking IDs at the, we would like gate in the sidewalk. So I was outside. It downpoured rain, and Victor's husband Jim kept bringing me like slickers and umbrellas to try. I was like, it's okay. It's September.
I'm already wet, dude.
So Joe, my resume is I worked with Granville Moore's, Tokyo Underground, and Paula. Like I was part
Tokyo
of
Underground is one of my favorite places in the city.
So I've been part of H Street since 2012, 11. I moved. I lived there for a long time, and then I still work there. So we probably hung out because I used to go there a lot to hang out with Marcus.
In fairness, I rarely bartended there. I almost only ever did floor manager, so I was running around stocking beer.
You probably kicked me out. You probably kicked me out once or twice.
It's entirely possible.
Especially when Sharky would DJ there. You probably.
Sharky was amazing. Also,
right?
I always forget it's a one-word DJ. He always spun vinyl, and he did a lot of West Coast hip hop.
Stereo Faith. Oh no, well, Stereo Faith.
No, it's
in Quartermain. Oh, there's Smudge.
It might have been Smudge.
I think it was Smudge. I think it is Smudge, actually.
The best shift I ever worked at Little Miss Whiskey's, I got to bartend the employee party of Ryan's Queen Vic.
Yeah.
So Ryan held the employee party on a Monday night, and I bartended, and he was like, I'll pay $6 on each cocktail. And of course, it's like the most money any bartender can ever make is to bartend for bartenders. It was awesome. They had like rock band.
They're gonna make you work for that holiday party, but
I've done so much coke in the Queen Vic fucking kitchen. I can't even tell you.
Queen Vic's back patio. Monday night.
I did a lot of coke in that.
Marcus, what is going on here?
I feel like we're gonna give Marcus. We're gonna have like a map to the stars' homes, but it's just gonna be like Marcus has done.
Places Marcus did cocaine. It's like
every bathroom in H Street. Every bathroom on H Street. In a bar.
What does the snowflake icon mean?
On H Street.
But now he's telling us how much cocaine he's done for so long. That's why you still got a fucking concussion, goddammit.
I haven't done cocaine since my concussion, goddammit.
Solve the goddamn problem. You like Keith Richards.
I filter my own whiskey in a Brita.
That's because you're a fucking idiot.
You do.
But to be fair, since my concussion, I have not done cocaine since my concussion. True.
With me, sadly.
Right.
Your mom's watching.
All right, everybody, guess what? We do drugs. Oh, what's
we were just saying, we were whispering to ourselves, but we were just saying how this is so fun because it feels like our Monday night off in an industry bar, chilling with our friends.
This is exactly what it's supposed to feel like.
So we started this out because me and Tracy Marshall at the pub would get drunk and be like, we should record this.
Oh, the pub.
Right.
So, that was our we close and go to the pub and go see Lil B.
Listen, I used to do tacos at the pub for 3 years on every Tuesday night. So I'm telling you, me and Tony T, Billy, fucking Chaz, love those motherfuckers.
Joey Dumbass.
Joey Dumbass. Yeah, that's a true story as well.
Joey Dumbass.
I actually have my new pug scarf over there. I don't want to go
I love B so much.
Yeah,
I like to bartend, but with her because I'm so tall and she's so short.
Yeah, she's right under your armpit.
My butt is right above her butt, so we never knock into each other. You know somebody who's a friend for life if you can work behind a bar together and not just slam into.
You also know you got a booty when that's what you're talking about, because I'm like, don't have that.
You can still bump into somebody and still be friends with them, booty aside. Booty.
I did in quarantine get to introduce Rach to Lyman. She hadn't been over there.
All right, so Lyman, so Jess, I used to work with Jess the same night right before she opened up Lyman, so when I became...
Yeah, it's such a good spot, and I really liked Derby because you can smoke upstairs.
Yeah.
Which is why we love Queen Vic's patio. Also, it's
that place is that place is weathering the storm pretty well.
Every time I've gone, their patio is full of peeps. It's one of those hidden gem places, so and it's also neighborhood, which I feel like same with Pub and the People. I feel like they're.
I do love the pub. The Pub and the People I love Pub People, and Val has a close friend there too.
Yeah.
Val, unmute
You're
yourself.
muted, Val.
We can't hear
Val, unmute yourself.
Take a shot.
Hello.
Take a shot. Take a shot first.
Hello. So Red Derby, I worked with.
Val, take a shot before you talk.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh wow! Everyone, stop yelling.
Well, Val was your grandmother on FaceTime, like.
Hello.
It's like grandma trying to get the VCR to work.
So my friend Sasha. Hold on. Shh. So my friend Sasha is one of the owners of Red Derby, right? She and I used to work together at the Third Edition. She was a lawyer. That's her. I mean, she was a lawyer for many years.
Her bona fides.
Yes. So she was at the Third Edition. We were working together, and she was like, I'm gonna open this bar. Like, my husband and I would like to open this bar. I'd never met her husband before. Turns out her husband is a guy who used to work at a bar like in Georgetown when I was in college, and like at American Cafe. Remember American Cafe? Do you guys remember American Cafe?
Cocaine off that titty, didn't he?
See, I love when Val gets drunk. Val gets drunk and she starts getting emotional and kind of sentimental and slurry at the same time.
But wait, Boo, do you remember the American Cafe? Do you remember American Cafe at all?
Where was American Cafe?
There was one. I mean, it was a chain. It was a chain, but there was one on Wisconsin Avenue. It was a weird chain of restaurants.
Is it like the one over by like Bethesda? It's in Upper Caucasia.
There was one in Upper Caucasia. There was one in Georgetown proper.
Yeah.
Shut it. So, her husband. So her husband. This guy. His name is Dave, right? So when I was in college, we used to roll around. Like, I used to hang out with him all the time. I might have made out with him one time in my drunken stupor. Allegedly, I might have made out with him at the Au Pied de Cochon, like in Georgetown, like the old fucking. Yeah, the Au Pied de Cochon, right? So, P.S. So then.
Penis?
P.S.
Don't worry, Megan. Marcus.
So Sasha and I are talking about this whole thing, and so I'm like, I'm gonna come to Red Derby, like on your opening, right? So I bring all my girlfriends. We're all going. We go to the soft opening.
What type of hoe story are you about to tell?
I'm just saying that, like, I had no idea that they were like.
Like, hold on, wait, what you
say? They were. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know that they were like married. You know, like. I go to Red Derby. It's their soft opening, and I go up and I go, "Oh, hey, Dave, what are you doing here?" He's like, "I own this place. My wife and I own it." And I was like, "Oh."
I hope they're not watching this show right now, because
whatever. I mean, it was like a long time ago. Like, it's not like I was like making out with him while they were married. Like I didn't. It was I was in college.
White girls
where halfway through the
tell the
story,
best
she's like,
stories.
But like that's how small. I go back to how small. Like Joe, you talked about how
seen as
small
small
like
as
the
we know.
DC industry is. It's so small.
yeah.
Right? So like
Yeah.
I had no idea that this guy that I like made out with like in like 1992 was like the husband of my friend who
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
I love
but like I didn't know.
The entire time you were telling that story, Joe and Coach's face was like, "What type of silly shit did this bitch do?"
I was ready for the brought my girlfriends to the bar story. We were like,
"It's a hoax."
I had all my girlfriends. Like I've been teaching. This is like 15 years later, and my girlfriends who were teaching. One of my friends was pregnant. We all go to this bar, and like I was like, "Who? What are you doing here?" And he was like, "I own it with my wife." And I was like, "Who's your wife?" He's like, "Sasha." And I was like, "Oh, I know her too."
Here's my favorite like industry thing to say, because DC is a small town, and then
It's so small.
The queer community is even smaller, so people are incestuous as fuck. Like everybody's mixed out with everybody's friends. I've been here 15 years and like got this gig and have a good I have a pretty good rep. But I always say it's because I still, in 15 years, have not fucked the wrong girl.
That's fair.
Right,
so big deal.
That's the point.
So let me, Joe, let me ask you
As
this.
far as you know,
Oh my
So,
god.
hold on, Joe, let me ask you this. Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. Joe and Coach.
everybody shut up.
So we talked about the relationship between Rehoboth and DC prior to coming on.
Yeah.
What in the gay? Because I know the gay community from DC and Rehoboth is way stronger than the straight community.
Yeah.
So, is there like a correlation? Like, if you fuck somebody in Rehoboth, you know in DC, like Val's talking about what she just did.
Rehoboth.
What I didn't fuck anybody. I just made out with him. I was in college.
Right, Val was not muted, so continue.
She was experimenting. But I think to answer your question, I think that the reason that there's a correlation like that, and it's a little bit less so with women, but it sort of goes to like you don't shit where you eat. So in DC, people have security clearances, they have jobs that require like a ridiculous background check. So they don't want to get picked up for doing something in DC,
right?
And put themselves at risk, because by and large, people who come to DC, ambition is the bane of this society.
And Rehoboth's like a playground.
Right, and so you leave, and it's more Provincetown for women.
Right, Provincetown being a Rhode Island.
Yeah, but Rehoboth is easier to get to and really friendly. DC is like gay, ambitious Mecca.
So so explain to the crowd that we're talking to. Her and I were talking about me being from Rehoboth Beach, and if you watch it, you fucking already know that. But I ran a gay nightclub for 4 or 5 years back in 2005 and on. And a lot of my clientele was from DC, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. And I talked to a lot of them. And like, one of my favorite friends was Colin Powell's like personal assistant, but he was flaming and he was gay. So
in DC.
and that's the thing. And like a lot of my gay friends, I would talk to them, and I'm like, when you come down to Rehoboth, you're like just out in the open, going full force, blah blah blah. I was like, how is it in DC? And I asked this because I lived in DC prior to working this place, and they were like, when we're in DC, we can be gay, but we can't be gay. We can't be out. But you come to Rehoboth, you go to Poodle Beach, you fucking
You're
go
like
to Aqua,
fucking strangers.
Yeah, you go to fucking the Double L, which is the Lace and Leather Bar. You go to fucking Cloud 9, which I ran. Then you go to Blue Moon. And it's like balls to wall, naked gay people, which, I grew up here. So, like, I love it here.
Yeah.
But, like I was asking you, like,
what's
back then, 15, 16 years ago, to compare to now, like, how's
the shift? I mean, I think for, we call them circuit gays, which is like based on the musical style. Circuit gays, there is an absolute, like, they're very buttoned up in their day-to-day life. Like, even at our bar, we're not seeing crazy behavior, again, because DC's all ambition. So the difference now is there's less of a kind of a need when you have a place to like blow off some of that steam. But I think by and large, Rehoboth 15 years ago, Provincetown 15 years ago, Puerto Vallarta still is like a big spot for these big parties. And we used to have, did you ever hear about the Cherry event that used to happen here? So it was like a week-long circuit party here in DC. Cobalt was a big part of it, obviously Town. I feel like they used to do events at Nation, and it was like the annual blow-off steam party. Because
But it sucks to have a like blow-off steam party. Why not be that year?
Well, welcome to being queer, all right? We're trying to...
Just let him be, Marcus.
I'm a cis white male. Fuck.
Let him be. Let them have it.
So I suppose that pisses me off that you have to have a fucking annual party.
Yeah, and I think it's less so now because there's more opportunity in your everyday to blow off steam. Like we have the dance floors and and Cherry was also the part of Cherry that was cool was it raised money for charity. So like all of the ticket sales. Yeah, and people came from all over to see these big name DJs because gay men still care very much about big name DJs, which not every iteration in the queer community, they just want good music, so they're not, but big name DJs, like gay men made DJs celebrities in their culture. So yeah, it's just been a whole thing, and it happens less. Hell yeah, you sold $10 Gatorades. They were swirling.
I would never.
And Red Bull and Gatorade. The party drugs they wouldn't drink.
When you talked about Cherry and you mentioned Nation, yeah, white parties.
R.I.P.
Like,
bubble parties at Nation.
So let's get off like the Cherry parties and shit. But like, so do you see a difference in the DC? Do you see a difference in the DC market now from 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also think that that generation that was really seeking circuit parties is starting to age out and is more interested in like a Thursday night drinks with their husbands and and then another couple. Yeah, I think but DC, what's wonderful about it is it's so transient. So a new administration is coming in, which means we're going to have a lot more young people coming into the city and who are going to gay bars. The last 4 years we haven't had any
straight and gay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And more honestly, because I've been doing this for several administrations, better bar patrons.
Well, we know that. We know the liberals are always going to be better bar patrons than
because they give a shit about people.
Well,
right.
It's like from a financial standpoint, but also they don't have as much like pent up shit because they don't have this like dictator that for the last 4 years they've had to deal with.
They don't have to live by the Bible.
No, I mean, Obama was running around and going on dates with Michelle.
When Obama was doing what?
When Obama was
going on dates with Michelle.
Well, it was like, somewhere and everything was just nice and fucking fine.
Yeah,
nice.
We put our feet up and we needed to be the wind at his back and we were not.
Agree, Bill.
Right.
But my point was like, growing up in Rehoboth, every bar was a safe space.
Yeah.
And 15 years ago, DC, you had your handfuls.
Well, and now, we've talked about this a little bit, Marcus, you and I, like, now you sort of have the gay contingent, like, we used to have a gayborhood, like 17th Street, DuPont Circle was where all the gay bars were. Right. We're in every neighborhood now. And even just 3 years ago when we opened Pitchers and A League of Our Own, people were like, you're going to Admo? And it was like, holy shit, gay people
at Admo. Yes.
Yeah. And it was
like, we talked about this an hour ago. We all exist. Like,
right.
Same thing.
Right. So I think now you have like a gay contingent in every neighborhood. I mean, Val and I were just talking about Red Derby. That had a huge queer contingent in staff. And I definitely took dates there because it was a great date spot. Plus, when I was hungover, they made tater tots, and that made me
But you were talking about A Street. There's not a gay bar on A Street, but every bar on A Street is gay friendly.
Gay friendly.
So it's a safe spot.
Guys, last call, guys. Last call.
Oh. But yeah, so you and I so we had talked yesterday. We've been talking quite a bit about.
All right, Val, hurry up because we got to wrap it up. We're running late.
Okay, but what you're talking about, how the progression of DC, like in the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, it's a much it's
right.
It's a safe space, and every neighborhood has at least one, if not several, establishments that are comfortable, safe. I mean, all of the waterfronts, Georgetown, the wharf, like there are places, and at Pride, the rainbow flags pepper the city. It's not just one concentrated area anymore. And so the fact that we have representation in the staff across the city is, I think, probably our biggest nod to how DC is a safe space, all told.
Yeah, we're getting to stretch our legs a little bit.
Yeah. So, Jo and Coach, we're going to make our way out, but please give us your final things, your final thought, and also the things that we can find you at.
All right. Well, our Instagrams are the Jo McDaniel and They Call Me Coach 25. That's where you can find us and see what we're up to and what we're working on. We have a couple of virtual events happening, and quite frankly, we're all just holding in the turd until we can be packing dance floors again.
Yeah.
That's funny, and I love everything about that conversation you just said. Like, I don't like the thought of your turds holding in, but yeah.
Look.
So
Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
I should have put pronouns as she, her, champ. That's what I said.
There you go.
My bad.
Yeah, we really want to thank you both for coming on, and y'all are definitely going to have to come back again. And
you guys are
hopefully things start to reopen and things take a turn
and actually do our show
for the positive. And we're
gonna. So I love you guys. I love you so much, and I'm so I love them. I mean, they're my friends. Okay, but can I? But can I say?
Val, speak.
Can I just speak for a second? Sure. I mean, I love them. I love you guys. I know you personally, and I think you are amazing.
Boo's got a poop.
Thank you so much for coming on the show because I mean, you didn't have to.
You're welcome.
Right? And I appreciate you coming on, and I approach you all, and I love you.
I love you very much, Val. We'll be seeing you soon. And Boo, I just wanted to say, for the record, that Proud Boy asshole, I know the cop who arrested him, and she's the size of Val.
She's a Tic Tac, which is beautiful.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
The size of Val, a Tic Tac.
That's fucking great. I hope she puts herself on extra tight.
Let's do.
But I've been saving that tidbit for you special,
Thank
Boo,
you.
because her name was in the statement, and I actually am proud to say that I got to send her some information that she didn't yet have.
Good.
Yeah, some pictures and some information that she did not know, right?
I
mean,
fuck that dude. And also, I love very much the thought of him being put in handcuffs by someone, a human the size of Val.
A queer human.
She was my size. She was like, she's my size.
Anyway, we love you all so much.
Yeah, we love you hard.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please come back. And so for those of you who are still watching, we want to thank you all for riding this craziness out with us. And please don't forget to like and share and subscribe on all of our platforms. District of Misfits Show on Facebook and Instagram, at DC Misfits on Twitter. Our YouTube channel is the District of Misfits Show. On Twitch, you can find us District of Misfits Show, all one word. And please go to crushingdc.com and purchase some swag if you would like to support our endeavors. I am going to take just a brief moment for Boo's Corner because we're running late, and I don't want to hold y'all up too long. But so yeah, we just had inauguration. Out with the old, in with the new. It is a good thing. It is a positive thing. But now is not the time for us to kick up our heels and act like everything's okay, because it's not. It's, very, very, easy to say that us kicking our heels up and relaxing over, from 2008 to 2012 was how we ended up in, or 2016 is how we ended up in some of the situations that we ended up with now. I'm excited for a new administration that is more inclined to treat people with equity and fairness. But this administration is not beyond reproach. It is not beyond criticism. There are some ugly marks already. Just, if you want to go through cabinet picks, we can do that. The swamp has not been drained. It is just a little less murky than it was a few weeks ago. I'm giving this administration its 100 days to make some magic, do some shit. Do some shit. Be better than Obama's first 100 days. It's a pretty low bar. It's a pretty low bar.
Actually true.
It's a pretty low bar. Take care of the people. Take care of the small businesses. Stop giving money to the corporations. Stop giving money to the people that don't need it. Hold the people from the previous administration who have been abusing this country and their power accountable. Because if you don't, all the people that came out to support this administration, they're not going to come out during the next election. They're not going to come out during the primaries. They're not going to be motivated. And we're going to end up with even worse than what we ended up with before. It's a prediction that I really, really hope does not come true. But again, and this whole unity thing, I don't want to unite with people that would have me destroyed. That's just not an option. I believe in turning the other cheek, just not on that. We can disagree about a lot of shit. We ain't racism and homophobia and xenophobia is not on the list. So yeah, in the next few months and years, you're gonna probably hear me say some shit about Joe that you're not gonna like, but I'm not doing it to be a fucking contrarian. I am just, looking out for the little guy. Marcus, we also have failed in our cavalcade of Bernie memes. You sort of fell short on that. You sort of fell off on that. So maybe in these last couple of minutes, you can throw up some of the greatest hits. Yeah. That's gonna be it for my corner. But yeah, we got to hold people accountable, and you gotta do right. Joe is your chance. Here's your chance to do right. Undo all the damage that you did in your early part of your career. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do. All right. Marcus, go ahead and sign us off. Thanks again to Joe and Coach. You guys fucking rule. Love y'all.
No, I gotta find this one thing that I post. All right, let's get rid of that. I want to thank everybody coming out. We do the show. We love doing this show. It's fun for us. But we have to talk about things that we need to talk about. So I don't try to do my last call as much more on the booze corner. But this is a call to all the haters. And, let's make it wrong to be a bigot, a xenophobe, and a racist fuck. Like we talked about earlier tonight, I was called one of the most hated people in Delaware because I call motherfuckers out. I don't give a shit. And this time we call these motherfuckers out. It's
Delaware.
Not cool. Exactly. Delaware. We're aware. So it's time to call these motherfuckers out on being cunts and pieces of shit. About a year or two ago, I fucking started deleting people who didn't believe like I did. Because I didn't want to wake up to my Facebook page and see people I didn't agree with and see their negativity because I don't deserve it. It's my page. Fuck off. And it was the whole argument don't cancel these people that you can argue with. You can't fucking argue with these cunts. Fuck these motherfuckers. You can't argue with them. So I deleted them. But when I come home to where I live and where my parents live, yeah, you can go to the East Coast in Rehoboth, Dewey, Lewis, Ocean City. You won't see these racists and cunts. But if you go west 15 minutes, I see them. I sometimes prepare for a fight and ready to do fisticuffs just in case I run across a racist cunt that
He's
I
my
grew up
favorite
with.
MC.
Thank you. I appreciate him too. So I have to be prepared. And you have to be prepared. And if you see somebody from your hometown, fucking break out with them. Fucking punch them in their face. But at the same time, do what you need to do for yourself on your own, like, social media pages. And do what's best for you. But don't be afraid to call out Nazis and racists and xenophobes and all these fucking assholes.
Very serious. And before I sentence you, I'd like to say a few words about your arrest record. What the hell?
What Boo is saying right now. So here's to another great show. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. We thank you. We love you. Please follow, share us on every fucking thing. We're everywhere. We really are. And with that, Boo's favorite thing in the world.
We're totally insane.
They pushed me out and maced me.
Those are the facts.
Thank you.